Welcome, everybody, to the Cone of Shame Veterinary Podcast. I am your host, DrAndyRoark. Guys, I got a good one today. We're digging into vet websites. I'm worried. I am confused. I am confused about how vet clinic websites are going to work in the future when no one goes to websites anymore. They just go to AI and they ask a question and AI tells them the answer. And I'm like, what are we making these websites for if that's how this goes? I've got my friend Bill Schroeder on, and it's funny, Bill and I were talking after we recorded, and he said, look, Andy, all of these companies that have AI, LLMs like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, and they want to gather users, and the only way they can do that is provide good answers. And so they are going to be trying to get it right and to figure out the best practices to refer people to and how to support the users in a way they're going to be happy with. And so they have a vested interest in looking around the web, trying to figure out who's going to be the best fit for the person who they're working for, answering questions for, and they're motivated to get it right. And so we should really participate in this and to help make sure that AI can see what we're doing in our practice and get the right clients to us. And so anyway, it's a really interesting conversation. I push back on this a lot. If you want to hear an old man shaking fists at clouds, get ready. Because I am just like, this feels like a lot of work and no one's ever going to see our websites anymore and things like that. And Bill does his absolute best to talk me out of it. And I think he does a pretty good job. I think if you're interested in what it's going to mean to market a practice in the next 5 years, I think you need to be listening to this episode. This is actually a lot of really interesting ideas coming from Bill. So anyway, guys, Bill Schroeder, my friend, hopping on the podcast. Let's get into it.
This is your show. We're glad you're here. We want to help you in your veterinary career. Welcome to the Cone of Shame with Dr. Andy Roark.
Welcome to the podcast, my dear friend, Bill Schroeder. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you. It's great to catch up and to be in front of your wonderful audience again. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's always so great to have you. You have been a friend of mine for forever now. I mean, I think that we're honestly getting close to 20 years, and you have been a lecturer for me at the Uncharted Veterinary conferences that I run, and you were just a personal advisor for me and friend. And for those who don't know you, you are the owner of In Touch Practice Communications. You are a brilliant marketing and advertising mind. You know the vet industry backwards and forwards, and you were someone that I have sought advice from around communications many, many times. I have a thing, Bill, that I'm rolling around, and you're the guy to answer it for me.
Okay.
All right. So I've been thinking about how I access information these days, and I use Gemini instead of ChatGPT.
Sure.
I'm a Google guy, but I use Gemini. And I find myself more and more asking Gemini, hey, where can I find this? Or what would this be like? Or what's a good example of this? Or give me some gift ideas for these things, or, that kind of stuff. And I do more and more of that. And what I'm finding, Bill, is that I'm going to like websites less and less because I'm just asking Gemini. Or I use Google and I'll type a question in, and then I get the AI summary at the top, and sure. I get the answer a huge percentage of the time, and so I'm not going on. And so anyway, so that's been kind of going on. And then a couple of days ago, I interviewed Ryan Leach, who's the host of the Bird Bath podcast. And I was talking to him about 2025 and sort of postmortem, and then where he sees sort of AI going. And he kind of broke my brain because we were talking about practice groups, and it used to be this big challenge if you had multiple practices and you brought them together to get them to use the same PIM system. And I was still operating as if that was a big thing. And Ryan was like, Andy, none of that matters. He was like, if you have an AI system and the AI system can access the PIM system, you don't have to have PIM systems that talk to each other. You can have the AI that's accessing the PIM system over here and the other different PIM system over here, and you can still get all the information you want without these guys ever having to have PIM systems that talk to each other. And that just kind of blew my mind because it used to be the PIM system was this essential piece of the practice. You know what I mean? Like the one you chose dictated your connectivity to other things and how things were done and how you coded things. And he was like, Andy, that stuff doesn't matter anymore. And so my question for you is, has AI done the same thing for practice websites that it has done for the PIM system, where what used to be so vital and outward facing and important is now just got this AI blanket over top of it. And so anyway, it's a big question, but you're the guy who would know. Bill, like, help me out here. How should I even be thinking about practice websites now?
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit.
Okay, that was a lot. I get it. That's a lot.
Let's first have you understand that the behaviors that you are describing about how you're using search and how you're finding information now, that's exactly how pet owners are utilizing AI and, all the LLMs, the large language models, the ChatGPT, the Gemini, and all the others that are popping up. 3 probably popped up while we've been chatting here right now. It's moving super duper fast. And the goal of the search engines and the LLMs, ChatGPT, and I'll probably use ChatGPT as the blanket, and I'm referring to all LLMs. It's just easier to do that. The goal of them is to get to what's called zero click. And what that means is that when you are looking for information and you're having a dialogue with the ChatGPT or the other search engines now, just even in Google with Gemini and everything being launched, that they are providing you the information that you need without clicking through to the website. Now, and we'll get back to how that all works in a moment there.
Okay.
But what's really happening here is the birth of conversational search. And I'll give you a little anecdote. My wife, Katie, and I were driving in the car just the other day, and recent news is our oldest, Madison, just got engaged. And
congratulations. I've known Madison since she was itty bitty.
I know. Isn't it crazy? Yeah, well, she's engaged now. So they are looking for a wedding down here in Florida and looking for a venue. So I put on ChatGPT. We were in the car, turned on the voice mode, and I had a full-blown conversation with an all-knowing, being that was able to provide us information about the venues with beach weddings where they've got enough rooms, they've got dates available, all these sorts of things. And then in the end, I just asked it to send me a list of all the things we narrowed down during the conversation that I had. And it got, to the point where, Katie was super annoyed with me because I play with it sometimes, and I'll be like, goodbye. And then it'll say, see you later. And I'm like, okay, after a while, crocodile, it's like, see you, Bill. And it goes on and on and on, but it won't stop, right? Okay, so that is where we're going now, okay, where we're at right now. And where we're going is a much more enhanced experience. Now, it's important to realize, though, that this isn't magic, right? And that the information, websites and the content developed through blogs and social and all of the other places where good information about your practice should be housed is up to date and is created in a way that the ChatGPT and the other LLMs can find it and utilize it to fuel their conversation with people. So while and I'm speaking to the audience here, you will probably see a dramatic drop in traffic to your websites over time because people won't need to go there to get the information. Now, the LLMs, ChatGPT, will need to rely upon that information to go there and pull it out and actually provide the dialogue that we just spoke of. And then perhaps it will send the person back to your website to book an appointment or do things like that. But that's where we're at right now. Yeah. And the future is even, more bonkers where and we're right on the cusp of it. It's interesting that you talk about the PIMs and how important the PIMs are in this big picture thing. To demonstrate this, I need to ask you a question. Have you ever asked ChatGPT what it knows about you, Andy?
Yes, I have. Yes.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's go ahead.
No. So it's interesting. I've had different experiences. So when I ask about, granted, I put a lot of stuff online, and so I'm not I'm not hard to find or anything. But so ChatGPT had a new product called ChatGPT Search that came out that was supposed to be very much like a search engine. And so I saw somebody online that was just like, this is amazing. And so I went and I said, who is DrAndyRoark? And it came back and it said that I had gotten a master's degree at Duke University and that I had previously been the host of the Uncharted podcast, which I still do. And I had published an episode that morning. And I was like, I'm not impressed with the information that I got back when I searched for myself on this site. So anyway, that was the experience that I had.
Yeah. And, the interesting thing is you hit on something really, really interesting. That is no longer the type of experience that is the norm.
Yeah. That was at the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that because it's like the race to be first and to provide the most information. And it's important to know, and this is not your case because you've got tons of content out there.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the content, it is likely that ChatGPT will lean on other people for the answers and ultimately direct them there. And we're even seeing a lot of LLM hallucinations where they actually make things up. So like to your point, your master's at Duke, it made that up and fed that back to people. That happens. But, I use ChatGPT a lot and I'll ask it things. I'll ask it things for my boat, for my car. I am testing it, right? And I'll use my daughter's names. I'll use Katie's name when I'm doing this, And a real interesting thing is that Katie likes to go fishing, right? And we live on the Gulf and we go offshore fishing, right? And Katie's good when up to about 1 foot of waves, maybe 1.5 feet. Okay. And after that, it's not fun for her, right? Gotcha. And I've trained GPT by asking it questions and things like, what's the wave height? Where's the wind coming from? Is it going to rain? All these sorts of things, about the weather that will allow me to determine whether or not Katie's going to be comfortable out there. So in the past, I'd have to go on Google and search for all these different things and then put them all together and develop my own analysis. And now I can literally just ask it, hey, will tomorrow be a good day to take Katie out on the boat? And that's the real thing that I want. Now, how does this come back to veterinary medicine? This comes back to the point where I'm a pet owner, right? And let's say I've got a 14-year-old schnauzer, right? You can bet that the schnauzer has pancreatitis, right? So I am speaking with ChatGPT about all these symptoms. I'm asking it things. I'm asking if this is normal. I'm reporting on, what's happening and in my conversation with it. And very soon, the LLMs will have access to the PIM data and then be able to realize that Dr. Roark is my veterinarian. And because his schedule is open, I will be able to see where there are openings that coincide with my schedule and say, hey, this is the LLM speaking. It might say, looks like Olive is having another pancreatitis attack. Dr. Roark's got an appointment at 2:00. You've got availability at that time. Should I get you in?
That's mind-blowing to me. Bill, you think that like the LLMs, like ChatGPT, is going to have access to pet medical records? Like, do you think that that's going to happen? I completely believe that.
I do not think it'll be medical records, but I think that we will move into an era where the schedules will become available.
I believe that. That makes sense to me. And also, if the pet owner shares that information about Olive has got, a history of pancreatitis, I do believe it will definitely know that. It does make sense to me. So I see that coming, and I see sort of the concierge AI coming. And that definitely makes sense. Well, I guess my question for you, right, is I remember 10 years ago when we were talking about marketing veterinary clinics through websites, and we were very concerned about SEO, and we wanted to be content experts and demonstrate our content expertise and put out, content that could be searched and would help us rise to the top of the Google search. And now, Bill, are we even playing that game anymore? Yeah, there's societal good, I guess, with me writing about how to take care of pancreatitis so that ChatGPT can just take that and not give me any credit and tell pet owners good information. I guess that's good karma, but I don't see how it actually gets clients to me. Help me. What is supposed to be on my website now?
Yes, content is still king. And when you query any of the LLMs, you turn around and ask ChatGPT about this very subject. Ask it what it takes, what type of content goes up there. It will say original content that is based around your particular expertise and location is always best. And like I said earlier in the conversation, the ChatGPTs of the world need to pull information from somewhere in order to have the conversation with us, with the pet owners, when pet owners are making the queries, right? And it used to be that the information was just thrown up in some big block. It's not that way anymore. And you will see responses come back with links back to the sources so that then you will get credit for that. We are working very, very hard on this, and we have successfully optimized websites. And I've got an offer for your viewers and listeners that they can receive a free look at what their AI search score looks like.
Okay.
Let me tell you a little bit about that. An AI search score is our way of saying how well is your practice positioned to receive the attention and ultimately the traffic that can come out of AI. And it's a AI search score, or we call it AS here. So we're keeping it classy, right?
Keeping it classy.
Keep it classy.
It's a vet joke. Yeah, I like it.
Right. That's how it is. So get your AS checked at VMX.
Very nice, Bill. Very
just
nice.
Perfect. Anyways, so this AI search score is a way that you can look at how well you're prepared. What we did is we took some client sites that we're working our process on, and then we took a gazillion veterinary sites that are outside of our control. And the number here, I've got it right here. So when we came up with the score, which is complicated, it's like too much to explain how it goes here, but the average veterinary site had a score of 11.9. And by doing the things that we know to do, our sites were coming in at 175. Okay. So they were coming in, 11.9 times, the average practice will show up 11.9 times, and the average in-touch practice will come up 175 times. And I'll tell you that the root of that is knowing what content to create, where to put it, what coding to put behind it, and a whole bunch of other things. Like there's other things that got mentioned that even got released like in the last few days that I'd love to tell you about. And I'm sorry for rambling here, but the Google My Business section, when you Google business and it comes up with the map and everything like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Historically, there has been a Q&A section within GBP, Google Business Profile, okay? And Google My Business, same thing. It's just an old school way to refer to it. GBP is Google Business Profile. And there used to be this Q&A section where the practice would go in and they would do their own Q&A section where they'd ask themselves a question or somebody would submit a question and then the practice asks it in return. That's going away. It's being phased out very, very quickly in replace for an Ask Maps button. And what's happening here is that the practice will not be in control of the content that's on there. It will be AI generated, heavily dependent upon review content that is pulled from Google reviews, website content, photos, and the alt descriptions that go behind photos. That's just happening right now. The kind of crazy part about this is that if you work to build up that Q&A section in your GBP, you're going to lose all that information. Google's literally not transferring it over. It's just going to make a switch. So either your practice is prepared for this or you're not going to drown, but you will be missing on an opportunity to further your practice because that section will be blank.
So, I mean, am I even writing, when I'm making a website for a practice, am I even making it for pet owners anymore? Or am I just making it for AI and trying to, because it seems like those are different things. I mean, it doesn't seem to me like there's any value in me writing about, and maybe I'm wrong. It seems like there's no value in me talking about how DrAndyRoark feels about Lyme disease in a lot of ways, because no one's ever going to read what I wrote about Lyme disease anyway, except for AI. And I guess that they would use that to make recommendations to people if they said, what's a vet? I've had Lyme disease in the past with my pets and I'm terrified of it. And who can I see in South Carolina? Is that kind of what we're getting at? It feels like this weird hellscape where I'm using AI to write about my practice so the AI can then read the AI that I made and then tell other people what the outcome is when they search on AI. And it's like, am I using AI to generate content that's just going to be consumed by the AI to give to somebody else? Like, what a weird snake eating its own tail scenario this is.
Well, I'll tell you that there needs to be a balance. And for years, it's been that you should write for the pet owner, keeping in mind that the search engines are there watching and will pull information if you're doing it ethically. There's all sorts of bad things you could do that'll get you banned. But I always have taught to write for the pet owner and be your authentic expert that you are. And that holds true. Use of AI in content creation, heck, you should be doing it, right? And the way I look at that is that AI moves the start line closer to the finish and allows you to develop some really good content. You absolutely still need to develop the content. It's how you win the game. And I was thinking about something as we were preparing to talk. There's always an edge, right? There's always like a next level. There's always the group of people that are succeeding or that have a greater share. They're dominating in a market. And that's kind of one of my tips for today. Like, while AI is there to supplement the expertise and the content that you're going to put out, you can't just like set it and forget it. You've got to be there helping it along, and you've got to use it to do the mundane, the routine stuff to get you started, and then still apply the work that makes a difference. And the practices that we're working with that are actually putting in the work are winning. And so, I mean, it's AI. It's not easy. It's not, now we can forget about everything else because not only does it take work, but it's changing so frequently. Like I'm saying, the GBP thing with Google, how would you know to make an adjustment unless you were dedicating time to study and to work on it,
Yeah. So it seems, your take would be that websites are definitely not obsolete. It sounds like you think that we're going the other way, where the way that you engineer your website. Again, as I was looking at it, it seems to me like the importance of social media is going up as far as terms of people talking about your business, what their online reviews are. That seems to be something that's really being drawn from. And to me, it felt like the website was kind of falling away. You seem to be saying that that's not the case. Do you feel like the website, like vet clinic websites, are as important now as they've been in the past? Less, more, or the same? Like, what's your general take?
Well, it's a different type of important, because when the pet owner went out there and looked for information, they needed to go there to gather information and then make decisions and ultimately book appointments. Well, what's happening is that process is being moved from the site where it's gathering all the information into often a different format where they digest it and then make decisions and often make the appointments. Like I said, if that didn't exist, where would it get the information that you could, the accurate information, right? And at this stage right now, websites used appropriately are more important than ever. But like I said, they've got to be done right. And with the realization that the decisions and the answers are going to be gathered and pushed to a different platform, the LLM. And, if you think about it from a pet owner standpoint and how you use ChatGPT, in the past, you'd ask a question of Google and it would give you a series of choices. And they'd rank them. They tried to rank them. And obviously, I made my living helping practices get ranked well. But it takes it to a whole nother level, because before you'd have to click on that website and then go hunting around for the information that you need and then digest the information and hope that Google directed you well. Now it just like serves it up to you, even in a conversation. So,
Well, it seems like whatever voodoo is required to be the practice that ChatGPT recommends. Like that's where the real game is. I just don't want to be the sucker, Bill, that's diligently writing veterinary blogs and putting this work into my website that is just getting ignored because I'm not providing the information that's going to actually be presented to pet owners. And here's the other thing too, is I'll be honest, maybe I'm just a jerk. I don't want to write the definitive grounded information that ChatGPT serves to pet owners. I understand that that's a good thing to do for society, but I'm trying to see pets in the exam room and do that. And so there are some people who I have felt a lot like people look at vets and they're like, you should provide ChatGPT with good information so it can help people. And I'm like, that's not my job. My job is to see sick pets in the exam room and to take care of them. And so I don't know. I guess that's what I'm sort of kind of looking at and trying to say, how do I, without just feeling like I'm getting taken advantage of by writing stuff that's getting used and doesn't help me, how do I put myself out in the modern world in a way that provides the information that's going to actually help pet owners find me?
There's a difference between writing informative content and then turning it into, another Dr. Google situation. There's information where you could be positioned as the local expert for Lyme disease, to your example, and how important it is for, tick prevention and all the sorts of things that go along with that. The LLMs are so smart these days that they realize how to take that information and then direct the traffic right back to you. And, when you think about it, as you were talking there, Andy, I was thinking that, what we do is we build a lot of our content so that it puts the veterinarian in such a tremendous position of expertise and knowledge. And that is like the pinnacle. And the content can be created to actually educate someone and say, hey, I would wholly recommend that you book an appointment, give a call, let's see if we can get you in. And that's the sort of content that I would be in favor of. By no means am I in favor of creating a system where it would subvert the efforts or the genius that is the veterinarian. So,
no, that makes sense. Well, Bill, thanks so much for being here. Where can people learn more from you? Where can they find you online?
Okay. I would love your viewers and listeners to visit intouchvet.com. That's intouchvet.com. And if you use that same URL, intouchvet.com/uncharted AI, there's a special offer for you. And hopefully you can put it up on the screen here and you can your audience can visit there. What that offer is at no charge at all. It's normally a $395 or $399 value, where an analyst will look at your current presence and then give you a score around how visible your practice is and help you understand what you can do to improve it. Yeah, Andy, I really appreciate you and our friendship and the opportunity to talk about this stuff today. I love it. And thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Always. Thanks for being here, Bill. Guys, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take care of yourselves, gang. We'll talk to you later. And that's what we got. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to Bill Schroeder for being here, guys. I'll put links in the show notes down to In Touch, as Bill was talking about. Again, he's great. He's a good friend of mine. And so I appreciate him coming on and taking my questions. Guys, take care of yourselves, everybody. Be well. I'll talk to you later.